What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, giving you guys a quick discussion on what I believe are going to be the top and best decks for competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! In the April 29th, 2019 format. You guys know Konami just gave us an FNL update, and even though they took a minimalistic approach in this update, I feel like there is a lot that actually is going to change when it comes to the next meta, because the little changes that they did are going to have very big impacts. Also, we have some new product that is going to come out. Now, I am going to take into consideration all products that are going to be released up until July, because July 1st, unless I'm mistaken, is when Konami did say that, we may be eligible for an FNL update. So this means that Dark Neo Storm will be a factor on this list. And these are just the decks that I think are going to be meta throughout the national season. So I feel like all of these decks are definitely excellent picks if you're looking to play at and or top an event in the coming weeks. Anyways, at the 5 spot, I have Guru Control. Some of the reasons that I listed Guru Control on the list is because, number one, I have faith in the deck because I've seen it top multiple regionals and YCSs. I've seen the deck win regionals over the past couple of months, and if you've already been there, done that, you've proven that you can be successful multiple times against the meta, then I really don't have any reason to believe that you wouldn't be successful against the meta again. Also, I think, and this is one of the biggest factors, easily the deck's worst matchup, which was Sky Striker by a mile. Most Guru Control players would agree with that. I mean, it just got significantly better because either A, you're just not going to see the Sky Striker matchup all that much because a lot of the players might dump the deck, or B, you only have to worry about one Kagari. I mean, that matchup was incredibly difficult for Guru Control, and now it just got significantly better because Sky Striker was crippled on our FNL list with the new one anyways. I also think that the deck's most notable floodgate, there can only be one. It doesn't just destroy Salomon Great, which obviously is one of the most prominent decks in the meta, but it's going to be good against what I predict is going to be, or what I predict are going to be some of the other popular decks. It's excellent against Dinosaurs, Altergeist, Cyber Dragons, Endymion. All of those cards are spellcasters. So when you're getting even more use out of a floodgate card that you were already running for one of the top decks, that's going to feel pretty good as well. When it comes to kind of like the negatives, I think the deck can definitely struggle going second, and really nothing has kind of changed in that regard. Really, I don't see how the deck has kind of improved from that angle at all. When it comes to the 4th deck I have on here, I've got Altergeist listed at 4. Altergeist might be struggling on the YCS circuit, but the deck has actually been doing excellent on the regional level, if you can believe that. Over the last couple of weeks, I believe Altergeist has racked up as many as 8 regional top 8 finishes, so that's showing you that the deck is actually really kind of under the radar excellent in its own regard. The deck has strong floodgates against most of the meta, whether it be something like Summon Limit, which can be excellent against combo decks like Salomon Great and Thunder Dragons for players who are still going to be running those, or you have things like Imperial Order and Secret Village, which can be super effective against Pendulums, Gurus, Sky Striker. I also think that Manhunt, or Crackdown as it's going to be in the TCG, is going to be an excellent addition to the deck, and it'll give it more removal so that the deck doesn't have to rely on Sequidius as much. I think that Manhunt going second is going to make going second a little easier for Altergeist, because you can essentially just wait until your opponent goes in the battle phase, you take their biggest monster, and not only could you get their biggest monster if it resolves correctly, but you could also, because it's a trap card, you could actually summon something like a Multi-Faker off that as well. Now, when it comes to some of the negatives for Altergeist, I think, especially after playing the deck at a regionals, the deck severely lacks offense, and Manhunt or Crackdown is really not going to change that, as well as any of the other cards in Dark Neo Storm. Like, Altergeist just really lacks offense, and I don't think that that's going to be something that's going to change anytime soon. Also, Red Reboot and Denko Sekka are still cards, and if your opponent activates Red Reboot on you or summons Denko Sekka and you don't have Sequidius or Conqueri to answer answer it immediately. Those are cards that essentially put the fear of God in you. So definitely cards to look out for. At the 3 spot, I have Dinosaur variants. And when I say Dinosaur variants, this can include everything from Lost World dinosaurs, Shadow dinosaurs, and even True King dinosaurs. Dinosaurs have actually proven that they can hang with the meta. At a regionals in Philadelphia that was over 700 people about 2 weeks ago, there was a Lost World and True King dinosaur, 2 different versions that actually made top 8. That's kind of showing you something. And keep in mind that a lot of their competition has gotten worse because of the FNL list, while dinosaurs have gotten significantly better. When you look at Miscellaneousaurus at 3, this is an astronomical buff to all dinosaur variants, and not only is it going to make going second easier, but I think it's just going to be the preferred method for all variants if it wasn't already. Hand traps on Oviraptor are just going to be a lot less effective. The plays where you just impermanence them or you ash them, you hit them with Effect Veiler, you know, if they're trying to chain block you with Lost World, all of that is just going to be a lot less effective, because if your opponent has that Miscellaneousaurus, they're able to still surge and essentially go off with their plays uncontested. You know, disruption on Conductor Tyranno, those are just going to be far less effective. And you know, Miscellaneousaurus is also not bad for a card to pop with something like Dragonic Diagram, because it does have the graveyard effect as well. I also think that Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is probably going to be, if not the best monster or the best boss monster of the format, one of them, because it's an excellent card for breaking established boards. The card is just a monster, being able to attack all your opponent's monsters and having 3500 attack. It doesn't really have to fear anything because battle traps are non-existent, and dinosaur players will be able to drop that card against decks like Salomon Great, decks that put up boards that are not super oppressive, and basically wipe the entire board with just one monster. Now, when it comes to the negatives about dinosaurs, and it's really only one to me, outside of that Philadelphia regionals, I do feel like dinosaur variants are largely unproven in recent history. It's been a long time since we've seen dinosaurs be consistently topping events, back when they had Miscellaneousaurus at 3, so that's really kind of the only knock I have against it. Outside of that, I think the deck is phenomenal. I really feel like outside of it being unproven, there really aren't that many flaws in its game. When it comes to the second deck on here, I have Endymion / Pendulum Magicians. You know, I know that there will be kind of a mix between the two, or the decks are, you know, not really that similar, but I just kind of threw them together because they're pendulum based, they're spellcaster based. You guys get what I'm saying. When it comes to the positives of Endymion and Pendulum Magicians, to me, easily the most important is the fact that it now has the highest ceiling in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! When it comes to turn 1 boards. You're going to be able to drop the most negations. I have seen Endymion easily drop 5 negations on board, and that is just ridiculous. When you're talking about 5 disruptions, being able to take out multiple cards with Jackals, and being able to, you know, Dark Bribe or F.A. Don Dragster your opponent multiple times for their spells and traps. Also, the monsters that have negations are incredibly large. I think that when it comes to like a lot of control decks, the Endymion Mighty Master of Magic, that card's going to be a problem for control decks. The fact that it cannot be targeted as long as it has a spell counter on it. You look at decks like Altergeist, and I mean, how do you kill it? I mean, seriously, you're playing Salomon Greats. How do you actually kill the card outside of high risk plays that require you to play or require you to go into things like Boil Load and Boil Sword Dragon? Altergeist, Sequidius, Milusi, Crackdown, Mirage Stallion, Leo, all of those cards target, and they are going to be completely useless against you know, your Sorcerer Supreme or your Mighty Master of Magic. I think the card's just excellent. Now, when it comes to the downsides of Pendulum Magicians and Endymion builds, I think that basically every card that was commonly used to counter Sky Striker is also going to be used against you. Things like Imperial Order, Anti-Spell Fragrance, Secret Village of the Spellcasters, all of those cards are going to be coming in against you. So don't think because Sky Striker got hit that you're going to be able to essentially kind of skate and people won't have side deck cards, because for the most part, I feel like all of those cards are going to be against you. To the honorable mentions, I have Sky Striker and Orcas, and I'll go through these ones a little quicker. When it comes to Sky Striker, Magna Reverse could actually save the deck. That card can summon Kagari back from the graveyard, and you'd be able to activate Kagari's effect and then link it away for another monster, and that would obviously kind of be excellent because it would mitigate the damage of just having one Kagari in your deck. And also, you have all your powerful Sky Striker cards still unlimited at 3. The problem is, Magna Reverse is a completely unsearchable card as far as I can tell, and if you don't actually hit that card fairly early in the duel, your grind game could be a lot worse than it was in the past, especially if you're not able to get area 0, or excuse me, if you're not able to get multi-roll on field successfully. When I look at Orcas, Rusty Bardiche, I feel like is going to be one of the cornerstones of that deck. The fact that it's still legal means that Orcas should be able to go into double Fog Blade plays backed up by orchestrated climax fairly easy, and you're talking about 3 negations for minimal effort. Also, there were absolutely 0 danger hits, and they don't have dangers in the OCG. We just basically have natural extenders that go straight into Bardiche. When it comes to the downsides of Orcas, well, there's no summon sorceress, there's no rank up plays, so a lot of your big playmaking potential has just been absolutely stripped away. And finally, to our number 1, Salomon Great. And I kind of feel like Salomon Great just ends up being number 1 by default because it barely received any hits on the ban list. Ladybug being put to 1 does almost nothing, especially post Signet Mining, because Signet Mining can search Ladybug, so it's almost like a moot point. It also searches the rest of the entire archetype for the most part. If you don't want to go ahead and search Ladybug, you want to get something else. The deck still does the most, in my opinion, with the least. You're talking about 1 to 2 card combos. None of that has changed post the FNL list update, and it's probably just like the most consistent deck because you can have 1 and 2 card combos. I guess the only real negative for Salomon Great is the fact that like Super Polymerization did go to semi-unlimited status, and if people were side decking 1 copy of it, then they'll almost certainly side deck 2 copies of it. But whatever you guys think of my top 5 list and the honorable mentions, leave it in the comment section below. If you guys agree, disagree, all that stuff, just leave it in the comment section below. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.